What will be your preliminary comments, Sam George? As a member of Parliament, the NDC caucus yesterday already raised issues. We'll go into all of that. The minority leader said this must be dealt with speedily. The NDC members also spoke to the press and said she should actually be sacked immediately, if not interdicted at least. John Mahama also tweeted saying that this is scandalous.
Well, very good morning to you and my co-panelists and the good people of Ningo Pram and our viewers. It's a sad day for us, it's a sad spectacle. This is how low we've sunken as a country. The issues at hand are mind-boggling. I mean, since the matter broke yesterday, I've been trying to process and appreciate the gravity and enormity of the matter. But I think that the first thing I'll say on this is that this case clearly distinguishes, for those who have the erroneous belief that the NDC and the NPP are one, and they say, oh, NDC and NPP are the same. This is a fantastic classic case that establishes the difference between the two parties. And I remember very well, because I was part of government at the time, when in 2013, 2014, early 2013, late 2013, early 2014, a videotape emerged of a private recording, and I'm saying this on the back of your earlier tape. That's right. A recording that was done of a private conversation without the consent of the person, where in her car, where there was an allusion to a dream of getting $1 million. It was a dream. Call it the Ghanaian dream, whatever dream, a dream. The Mahama administration of the day, in 48 hours, sacked Victoria Hammer. In 48 hours, she was sacked. Now we've crossed 24 hours since the story broke. This is not a recording. This is not a dream. This is someone leaving the reality and living a bigger dream, actually. Because I keep saying to people that $1 million per the charge sheet belonging to the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Honorable Cecilia Abinadapa, is missing from her residence. It took her husband chancing on the person in the act to notice that $1 million was missing. It then presupposes that the stash of cash there is way in excess of $1 million. Because even if it was $2 million and half of a stash of money is missing, it will be obvious to the naked eye. For it to be so inconsequential that you couldn't notice its absence until you stumbled on the person should give us a bigger worry as a nation. How much was stashed in that home? And then begin to ask ourselves, and I agree with Professor Appiah-Jaitua that there's no crime in keeping your money under your bed in a bank, digging a hole and putting it. It's your personal choice. There is no legislation that says all monies must be deposited in the bank. So on that one, it's fine if she kept her money.
At least in Ghana, elsewhere,
yes,
you cannot.
But in Ghana, there's no law like that. So I wouldn't say that she's breaking any law by keeping money in her house. But the question I would then ask is, if $1 million is so inconsequential, I'm looking at the quantum of my mind's eye is envisaging how much money was stashed there. How then did you come by that money? Is it legitimate money? If it is legitimate money, we can simply establish that by you showing us the trail of work done to inherit or earn that money. And then if it is inheritance or earned, we must see the commensurate tax that has been paid to the GRA on that matter. And that will settle this matter. But if you are unable to show us any legitimate business that paid that money, and again, the question you ask yourself is, for that volume of money, which legitimate business will pay you in cash? Or were you paid by bank wire and you went to the bank and asked the bank to withdraw it and bring it to your house? If that was the case, you must tell us which bank The bank must confirm that they indeed did a cash out of that amount and delivered. And then we begin to ask ourselves, we have the central bank regime, where even when you want to withdraw $10,000 from a bank in Ghana, you can't go beyond that in a year. So on what basis then?
And you suggested if it was money paid to her, like bulk,
yes,
one installment, that amount,
yes,
the FIC, the Financial Intelligence,
absolutely should have been triggered.
Look, I had to fight for a client. It was just $50,000 that was sent into his account.
Yes.
Somebody in the bank saw it. They said, we check your accounts, not this much. Immediately they triggered FIC. The money got frozen. Now we had to go to court and fight and explain why the money belongs to the person.
50,000 cedis.
Right.
That is literally
$50,000.
$50,000, sorry. So that is literally 1/20th of the amount we're talking about here.
So if it went through that, then it must be legitimate because they would have gone through those processes.
The FIC will have to establish, and like I said, we're talking of $1 million, which is the insignificant portion that was stolen. So the full stash is what we must begin to investigate and understand. And for me, I think that if Honorable Cecilia Abena-Dapaah was minded by the title she bears, Honorable, and this is someone I know personally, but I mean, she should have resigned. She shouldn't even wait to be sacked. She should have resigned.
She's issued a statement.
And you see that statement?
She's issued a statement.
Okay.
It doesn't matter that the Cecilia spelling
because I was coming to
at
that.
The beginning has CECE, but we are informed that she admits that this is her statement. And the statement is dated the 21st of July, 2023. Statement from Cecilia Abena-Dapaah. I refer to publications dated 21/07/2023, suggesting that I own $1 million, 300,000 euros, and millions of cedis, which have been stolen from my house. There are noticeable inconsistencies between what is being discussed in the public domain and the thrust of the original complaint on the matter. I am taking steps to examine the origins of the inconsistencies and will provide a detailed response in the coming days. Signed, name correctly spelled, Cecilia Abena-Dapaah. Okay, so she doesn't say this is untrue. Of course, she cannot say this is untrue, but she says there are noticeable inconsistencies, and as far as the original complaint is concerned, and she's taking steps to resolve that. Maybe
so you see,
the investigators put $1 million when she meant for them to put $100,000.
For want, I mean, this case has been in court for a while. It's not just today it started. I mean, and the investigations have been going on since sometime last year, 2022. For want of the confidentiality of private conversation, I would not mention who. But yesterday, in Parliament, after this matter broke, a senior member of government and a senior NPP person made it clear to us that they were going to engage in a PR spin and get the charge sheet amended.
I think the charge sheet has actually been amended, but I haven't seen the amended charge
Exactly.
sheet.
So, and the attempt to amend it is because of the gravity of the theft, to try and drop down the numbers. So Ghanaians should watch out for that. I mean, you soon see a new charge sheet that have dropped a number of zeros out of the figures in question. But look, you can't tell us that it is only after this has become public knowledge that you are now realizing that the amounts were not what it was, or are false, or are a misrepresentation. It just shocks me, you know, that we have a minister of state. I mean, this is our Bola minister, for want of a better phrase. I mean, this is our Bola minister. Our Bola minister has $1 million plus in her home, 300,000 euros, and millions of Ghana cedis sitting in her home. And you have your information minister telling you, go and sell your dollars, stop hoarding your dollars. So it means that the members of the Akufo-Addo government clearly are not listening, they're not walking their talk. They have a different narrative for us as Ghanaians, and there's a different narrative for those of them in government. I mean, look, and at times the truth is in the detail, the devil is in the detail. If you really pay attention, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo told us, "Osi yet tisikaso, then so come the one more tisikaso, come the menu." You understand me? I mean, this is the reality. They turn around and blame the NDC. In fact, me, Sam George, I have been blamed by NPP government for the fall in the cedi. Do you remember that story? Where they said my anti-LGBTQ bill had affected the performance of the dollar. Meanwhile, they are storing the dollar in their homes.
I'll return to you. This was supposed to be your preliminary comment.
Oh, prelim, okay.
I think the amended charge sheet will be dated the 20th of June. Will be dated the 20th of June, I think. But as far as what I see in a portion of it, I don't have the full picture of it. The $1 million remains unchanged on that amended charge sheet, which the date I see is on the 20th of July, not June, 20th of July. All right, so even if it's amended, the 1 million is there, and then the 300 euros is also there as well.
There'll be an amendment of the amendment. You wait.
Okay, all right.